Alright, what's going on, guys? So, this week, or this weekend, I should say, rather, we have UFC 259 coming up. Probably, to recent memory, it's one of the best cards in terms of on paper that we've had in a while. I mean, and we've had some really good ones, don't get me wrong, but super looking forward to this fight, and it just keeps, March is March Madness for the UFC. I mean, you got this card, and then you got the one coming up after it with Ngannou and Stipe. So, a lot of really good fights. Super exciting. But for this video, I want to go over some of my predictions for UFC 259, and specifically, just for time's sake, sticking to the main three, and those main three being the championship fights that are on this card. So, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say and what your predictions are. And I have friends sometimes will ask me, hey, who you betting on for, whatever fight it may be, and who should I bet on, or whatever, maybe some of these more casual fans. And, this is a game that's tough to bet on. You can have, just like I said, looking at it on paper, looking at everything, all it takes is one shot. All it takes is one shot, clip somebody. There's only been a few. Of course, there are some fights, don't get me wrong, where you're dead set, like, okay, I know this is going to happen. Like, you just feel very confident on it. The one that came to my recent memory that I actually encouraged one of my friends to, bet the house was Miles Vidal and Ben Askren. That one I just kind of knew how that one was going to play out, but that is not the case most times. So, with that being said, I'm going to go over my predictions again. We'll see how it plays out, but this is how I feel some of these fights are going to play out. Starting with, and I have the fights pulled up below me, so hence why I'm looking down. But first one, looking at Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling. This one's an interesting one. I'm leaning towards Peter Yan just because I think he has. Don't get me wrong. Aljamain Sterling mixes it up a lot. He's kind of got like a bit of and don't destroy me in saying this. It's just kind of a comparison. Not saying that, he's better than the other, but he has kind of like a John Jones kind of stand-up game and just approach to fighting in general, in my opinion, just because he mixes things up, hitting you with some of those, lead elbows or spinning back fists. He mixes it up a lot. He kicks a lot. He throws a kick to set up a punch or throws a kick to set up a takedown. He's really awkward in the way that he puts his combinations together. So, that being said, I still lean towards Peter Yan, though. And again, this is just kind of my prediction. I believe it could go either way, especially if Sterling can get him on the ground. It's leaning heavy Sterling. But got to get him there first. I think Peter Yan's a pretty strong 135er, and he's got hands like bricks. Like bricks. This man throws some bombs. So I'm definitely leaning towards Peter Yan in this one. So I think that's my prediction. I think he wins. Ooh, how he wins. Now that's gonna be a little bit tougher. I think he could win by knockout. I don't know. I haven't followed Aljamain enough to know how his chin is. So I don't know. I feel like Peter Yan's one of those, when he touches you, you're gonna feel it. So it's either, I think Peter Yan either wins by a, let's say, third round knockout, or it goes to decision, but Peter Yan ultimately wins the decision. So I know that's kind of not a definitive outcome that I'm predicting here, but either way, I think that Peter Yan gets his hand raised at the end. So moving on to the next one, you got Amanda Nunes, the GOAT, one of the greatest fighters of all time. Forget just women's. Just one of the greatest to ever do it, to ever grace the octagon, that's for sure. Against Megan Anderson, how can you bet against Nunes? How can you bet against Nunes? I see her winning. I'll just say knockout. Let's just say knockout. What round, I'm not exactly sure of, but I definitely see Nunes getting her hand raised. I don't know what the odds are. I'm sure she's a heavy favorite. Anderson, I haven't followed her much, but I have been watching some of her recent fights, and she's solid striker. And she's tall. She's 6 foot tall. I mean, golly, especially in the women's division, that gives her a huge, huge advantage. But I just see Amanda Nunes just closing the gap, getting inside on her, and another one that's got bricks for hands. I'm talking about what she did against Chris Cyborg. I think that was just, I mean, that's what really put her on the map, and that was another one I think people were sleeping on her in that fight. So, you can't, I mean, how can you bet against Nunes, honestly? So, I say Nunes, knockout, third round. I know that's 2 third-round ones, but I see that one being third round. And then we get to the main event, one I am super, super excited for. This one's a tough one to call. This one's a really, really tough one to call, and I think many of you would agree that this one's a tough one. But for some reason, I'm leaning towards Izzy in this one. I'm leaning towards Israel Adesanya. In this main event, again, Jan Blachowicz. He's another one. I feel like everyone you've got such a mix-up of these championship fights. Like, you got Israel Adesanya. He's one of those that kind of picks you apart. He's an assassin with it. You know what I mean? He's very, very methodical about his shots. He's very precise. He's quick. Then you got Jan Blachowicz that just throws bombs, the Polish power, as he likes to call it. You know, I mean, this dude touches you, you go to sleep. Go to sleep. I mean, my God, when he hit Luke Rockhold, I mean, whoo. I remember watching that one live, and Jesus, I think that's when I first started taking notice of Jan Blachowicz, is when he knocked out Luke Rockhold. I mean, because Luke Rockhold was talking this big game when he was moving up to 205, saying that he poses he kind of like Chris Weidman. Both of them were saying, I pose a great threat for John Jones. I'm gonna make my way to the title, and then Jan Blachowicz hit him with that stop button. I mean, real quick. So, this one's a tough one. I lean towards Adesanya getting this one done. I think he's going to take kind of a similar approach to the Paulo Costa fight. I think he's going to attack the legs early, and I'm sure Jan Blachowicz and his team are considering that. So we'll see how they do with that. But I definitely see Izzy utilizing the legs a ton in this one. So I can see him maybe doing some teep kicks, maybe some spinning kicks to the body, attacking that lead leg, calf or thigh. Either way, I definitely see him taking a similar approach and then moving around, and then maybe closer to the third round start kind of opening up a little bit more once Jan maybe starts to fade a bit, just because he's so big. But again, I mean, you got to be careful on your approach, because even if Jan's tired, he could throw some wild punches, and that can be dangerous. All it takes is one to catch you. So, Reyes found that out. Luke Rockhold found that out. I mean, you get touched by this man, you go to sleep. But I think Izzy's going to take a similar approach, like I said, pick him apart slowly but surely, and not really take much damage. I don't see him taking much damage in this fight if he wins. If he's getting hit, it does not lean in Izzy's favor at all. I don't care where he's getting hit by this guy. This guy is huge. I don't know what the weight differential will be when they actually step in the octagon, because I don't think Izzy's even I think Izzy weighs in at he'll probably weigh in at maybe 195, 200 max. I don't see him weighing in much more than 200. So he's going to come in below weight. Jan's probably going to be right at that 205 mark, probably by the time they fight, probably 215, 220. So big weight differential, but I think it's interesting, Izzy's approach, though, how he said that, and then going back to John Jones, and I did a video talking about, if Izzy wins this fight, John, I think that's the next move. But he commented on John Jones's putting on weight and everything else, going to heavyweight, and said he's not doing that. He's not going to do that for this fight, and that it's a mistake to put on weight. So we'll see how that approach plays out. I mean, I'm very interested in it. I think it's super, super, super intriguing to see this fight play out because it's two completely different body styles and a different approach in fighting just in general. I think this whole card has that. It's just like you've got just so many just different styles and different styles in each matchup that it's just, I mean, this is going to be an awesome card. And then you got Thiago making his return. I'm really interested to see how that one goes as well. So yeah, this card, man, I mean, huge, huge. And I'm pretty sure this is the card where Dominic Cruz is on the prelims. He's like headlining the prelims, I believe. It's either this one or the Stipe one. I'll have to look into it. But yeah, yeah, I want to say he's leading the prelims. So, I mean, guys, we have got an awesome weekend ahead of us if you're a fight fan like I am. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear your predictions. If you want to give me the full card, give me the full card. If you want to just do what I did and pick the championship fights, let me know. Super interested to see. And regardless of how the predictions come out, I think we're in for a great, great weekend of fights. So, yeah, we'll connect after and see how the predictions went. All right, guys.